Hi, thanks for clicking on our workshop on cottage laws and food product labeling. My name is Carrie Gartner. I am the Executive Director of the Loop CID, and we run the Como Cook Shared Kitchen. We had some recording difficulties with Chrystal Smart's presentation, so I am running through that presentation on her behalf. Chrystal is with the health department. We have her contact information here, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Chrystal on this. Let me start very quickly by telling you a little bit about the Como Cook Shared Kitchen. We are a certified kitchen. We have a full hotline. We have prep spaces, including a baking section. And we just recently introduced the packing house, which is a space where farmers and other regional growers can process their crops. We have a garlic peeler, dehydrator, a blast freezer, bag sealers, professional blenders, all sorts of things that you might need, particularly if you're not a cook. Our goal was to do an easy on-ramp for value-added production for farmers who might not be cooks. If you have any questions about this or would like to take a tour of our kitchen, check out comocooks.com. Trish is our kitchen manager, and she's available at info@comocooks.com. So let's get started on cottage food law and labeling. We did want to do this because we have a lot of folks, whether you're a grower doing value added, whether you are a cook in our kitchen, packaging food to sell, a lot of questions about this. So thank you for participating. Like I said, Chrystal Smart is our key person at the Columbia Boone County Health Department. She is fantastic. I should let everyone know that these rules are specific to Boone County and Columbia. It might be different in other counties. However, I do not want you to write off Columbia by any stretch of the imagination. We are a great market for people throughout the region. We're centrally located. We have a population that really invests and loves local food, and we have one of the best farmers markets in the nation. So there are all sorts of events and activities and ways to market here in Columbia. So questions, please contact Chrystal if you have any questions after this. So there's a lot of things we're going to go through. I'm going to show you all of her slides and then really kind of talk about some specific things that we notice people have questions about. Definitions. So you probably hear a lot of things like cottage food production, what's an inspected product, and so forth. So cottage foods are essentially things that you can cook out of your home without needing an inspection. And they're things that people have classically done in home kitchens: jams, jellies, baked goods. What you cannot do with cottage laws is potentially hazardous items. So a good rule of thumb is if there's anything that requires refrigeration, you really can't do that under cottage laws. So the classic example is cheesecake. I know some of us might think cheesecake is hazardous for other reasons, but it's considered a hazardous food item because you have to refrigerate it. So if you are doing anything like that, that's why we have a commercial kitchen that you can use. And I should point out that we have a lot of bakers who work under cottage laws, and then during the holidays when there's an increase in orders, they come into our kitchen for a couple months to really meet those orders. So that's what cottage food is. These are things that the person making them sells directly to the consumer, and that is what's important. And again, there's no inspections required. So these are some of the improved items. Contact the health department for details, but this is a good starting point. Definition of raw agricultural commodities. Okay, this is just basically produce. So if you go to the farmer's market, everything's washed, they're not cut, they're not processed, they're not blended, they're not dried. These are things essentially straight out of the garden that you can sell. There's some exceptions. If you're really thinking about doing a chocolate covered pretzels business, really talk to the health department about that. So if you're doing cottage food labels, there are a number of things that you have to make sure that you do. You have to have the name and address of where you're producing the food. You have to have the common name of the food. You have to list all the ingredients in the food in order of weight, and this is very common. You see this all the time on labels. You need to have the net weight of the food. So if you're making a cookie, you have to say how much that cookie weighs. You need to have a statement that it's prepared in a kitchen that's not subject to inspection. They do recommend that if you are doing honey, that you put a warning that it's not recommended for children under 12 months of age. And then finally, if you're selling at the farmer's market or the Loop Maker Market or any type of pop-up, you need a placard on your table that says that it's prepared in a kitchen that's not subject to state inspection. There are some updates. Recently, there's updates that happen on occasion. So make sure that, for instance, if you are doing online sales, that you really contact the health department for the details about those updates. Okay, these are things that are not approved, and you can see that they're all processed in some way. So if you are doing salsa, or you're bottling tomato sauce, or you're fermenting, or you're doing anything that really requires like refrigeration, you cannot do that with cottage laws. So if you're doing any of these products, contact us. We have the kitchen for you. There's some venue restrictions. I think the real important thing, there are two important things to keep in mind here. One is you cannot send stuff via the mail. And then secondly, when you do cottage laws, you can sell retail directly to the customer. You cannot sell wholesale to a grocery store or to a restaurant. So if you're a farmer and you're pickling, well, first of all, you're fermenting, so you need to have a certified kitchen for that. But you cannot sell wholesale. So if you're making cookies, you can sell directly to the customer. You can't sell your cookies to a restaurant who then sells them to customers. That's the same when it comes to the farmer's market. You can sell at the farmer's market, but you can't sell to a grocery store. Okay. Next, labeling required for inspected food products. So these are everything you can't do via cottage laws. These are things that you come into our kitchen or you have your own certified kitchen to do. A lot of the labeling requirements are the same. You have to give the common name of the item. You have to have a list of ingredients in descending order of weight. You have to let people know if there's artificial colors or flavoring or any type of preservatives in that. You have to talk about the quantity of contents. You need the name and the place of either the manufacturer or the co-packer or the distributor on there. And then you need to list major allergens. So for instance, you have to have a warning that says it's made with peanuts or wheat. If you need a list of those allergens, contact Chrystal at the health department and she can make sure that you've got all those listed. Bulk labeling. Okay, so this is something that not as many people do, but just so you know, this is like when you see the big bulk barrels in grocery stores where the customer actually fills the bag themselves. What it is there's essentially some of the similar requirements. It's required that there's a placard or a sign on the bulk ingredient. You have to make sure that you're not making any health claims, and then you have to say where it's manufactured or prepared. We don't have a lot of people that do bulk, but please take a look at this, and if you're doing that, really take a look at these requirements. Okay, freeze-dried products. We've had a lot of people talking about freeze-dried products to the point where we're looking for grant funding to purchase a freeze dryer for our packing house. So if you are doing freeze drying for retail sales, you need to do it in an inspected facility. So if you are thinking of doing freeze drying, please take a look at this and please contact the health department for details on how to do that. And we will keep you posted if we do get funding for a freeze dryer. So I know that we've kind of gone through this information very quickly. Again, let me refer you to Chrystal Smart at the Columbia Boone County Health Department. She is super helpful. She's very familiar with both our kitchen and the Columbia Farmers Market. So she really kind of knows the ins and outs of everything you might be doing. And then finally, if you are interested in using our shared kitchen, or if you are using our packing house, please take a look at comocooks.com. Our goal is to have a very affordable and accessible and welcoming kitchen. So we do have very low hourly fees. We absolutely allow people to come in seasonally if you're a farmer or if you're a baker who does stuff over the Christmas holidays. So we really do encourage folks to come in. Our rates start at $170 a month, and that gives you 10 hours in the kitchen. So that is much more affordable than getting your own kitchen. And again, we are certified. So our goal here at the kitchen is to get you 90% of the way, and then you just have to get your inspection like the final 10% of the way. Again, our goal is to really reduce barriers for you. If you would like a tour of the kitchen, we do have a virtual tour online at comocooks.com. Or give Trish, our kitchen manager, a call at 573-443-5667 or at info@comocooks.com. And then finally, we do maker workshops every month. Sometimes they're food related, sometimes they are branding or social media or marketing related. Sometimes they're tax or business license related. So please watch our socials for updates. You can also go to our main website, which is theloopcomo.com, and we will advertise all of our maker workshops there. So thank you, and we hope to see you next month.